Hi, welcome to the events calendar's office hours. Today we will be talking about customizing templates. So that will help you to be able to customize uh, our plugins and help you to do things that you want to do. So I am going to hand it over to Stephen, and he will take you through some stuff, and then we will have time for questions. So feel free to put those in the chat. Take it away.
Hi, my name's Steve Page. I'm one of the developers on the events calendar, and I'm gonna walk you through. I'm gonna walk you through a couple of our examples of customizing template files, so that not only do you get to see what I'm doing, but then you can reference both the recording later and the article as well. And then after that, we'll take questions for anything more specific. Um, when you are customizing template files, the first thing that we ask is that we recommend is that you don't edit the files directly. So if I'm in my IDE here, my code editor, and I'm looking at, you know, nope, not this one. Um, this template here. So I'm in Events Pro. All of our template files are in this Views folder. That's where you find them. And I'm looking at this photo event. Um, we don't want to edit this file directly because when the plugin updates, it'll probably wipe out your changes. What we want to do is copy them to your theme. And more specifically, we want to copy them to a child theme. So I'm going to do a really quick creating a child theme. I'm using 2021. And basically all I did is I created a new folder in themes. This is 2021 child. I created a style CSS file and threw up this little bit here so that WordPress recognizes it as a theme and recognizes that it's a child of 2021. So it will override 2021. That way, if 2021 updates, I, again, don't lose all my custom files, right? There's a link in the articles to that and stuff about child themes on WordPress.org. Let's go back to our article. So our first example that we're going to do is this one. All right. Sure, we can do this one. Uh, we're gonna try removing the image from the list view, right? So if you look at, I'm gonna show you my local here. Here's my upcoming events in list view and this photo. So we're gonna take that away. Um, Blink. So first we find the template file. The article here tells us that it's in views v2, and then we want to find the list view. So let's go back to our plugins and events calendar, and we want source views. By the way, that's SRC source views and v2, and then we're looking for list view, and we're looking at the event, and here's featured image, right? So we have this big file, and this basically is what does all the logic and then displays the image, right? Now, according to our article, it walks us through that to featured image, and then we're gonna copy that file to our template. But we don't want the featured image to display. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to look at the top here, and it says this is where we want to put it. Every one of our template files has this. It says in tribe events v2 list event featured image. So again, we go to our theme, tribe events v2 list. We need an event featured image. So we create a new folder, event, and then we create a new file, featured image.php, and we're going to leave it blank because we don't want it to display anything, right? So then we go back and check out our events and see no image. That's a fairly simple one. Um, I'm going to go ahead and delete that so I don't forget about it and then get surprised later. Well, then we're done with this guy. We're going to close this guy. We're going to go to here. There's another way you can do it, which is using filters and actions. This is actually my preferred way to do this kind of thing. Every template um, runs several hooks while it's rendering. Um, we have template before include, template after include, um, we have template after include HTML. So you can look through this template file. It's in the events calendar common or event tickets common source tribe template, right? And there's a ton of hooks in here. So it gives you a lot of spots where you can hook in and add something or hook in to change what the output is. And we're going to walk through an example of doing that here with our list view again. See why I put the photo back? Uh, we're going to use tribe template before include template action, right? The template we're looking at is the venue, right? Because right here, it's probably easier if I do this on my page here. What we want to do is we're going to put the author name in just before the venue. So this is our venue line, right? And we want to inject the author right between the title and that, okay? So we create a new file in our um, in our theme because this doesn't exist, and that would go. That will go here. So child theme tribe events v2 list event author, right? It's not in this event folder, which is empty. Let me delete that to avoid confusion. So the path to this is, you can see themes 2021 child tribe events v2 list event author. And all we're doing here is we're adding a little div with a tiny bit of styling, one of our internal classes, and then we're putting the word author and the author's handle, display name, right? So we've got that. So we got that part done, right? That's this here. And then we have to add a little code snippet. You can add this to your functions PHP file. I have a plugin that I prefer to use called Code Snippets. Not, you know, um, which just lets me turn it on and off and that kind of thing. So here's our action. Here's our try template before include, and then this path is actually the path to or part of the path to the file that we're going to include, right? So events v2 list event venue. This should sound familiar except for the venue part. These hooks all basically take the same parameters, file name and template, and then we're going to output a new template. We're going to take template and we're going to say output a new template and it's list event author. Now list event author doesn't exist in our plugin, and because of the way that it searches for templates, it will actually look first in our child theme and find events v2 list event author, which has this author code. So let's go ahead and we're going to activate our plugin. Give it a second. There we go. And then let's go back to our events. And we'll refresh our page. And then you can see author Camwin. That would be me. And I, of course, am the author of all of the posts on my local. So that's not a big surprise. But there you go. And you can style this up. You can, if you want, you can, this in bold tags, right? To bold the word author, like the way we have the name of the um, venue bolded, or however you want to do. You can add classes and then do custom styling on top of that. Um, How about we do one that's a little more complicated? We're going to use photo view, which is a view from um, Events Pro. Okay. And we're going to take this date and we're going to move it up so that it hovers over the image. And this is this article here, styling photo view. We're doing the, like, I think it's the third thing that it does. So we're moving the event inside of the photo view card. So first we find our templates again. This is in Events Pro, source views v2 photo event, and we copy it to Tribe Events Pro. Note this part is the plugin name. So here we're this Tribe Events, that's for TEC, but for the events calendar, but here we're Events Pro, right? And there's our photo event, right? So we copy that, and now we're gonna remove the line that says this template photo event date tag, right? So let's do that. Photo event date tag, this line right here, we're just gonna remove that. Or we're gonna remove the line break before it. There we go. Okay, so now if we go to our photo view, we expect not to see the date, right? Because yep, there we go. We removed it, okay? Then we're gonna go back here and it says, okay, now we wanna find featured image and we're gonna copy it, which I have already done here, so you don't have to see me creating a bunch of files. Here's our featured image file, and then it says to edit it, and this is what we're adding. We have the image URL, right? But after that, we're adding display date. Let's do this. By the way, I just double clicked on the code that's in the article in case you didn't catch that. That's how I made that a little easier to copy without, we got to remember this. Um, um, Without getting the line numbers and that kind of stuff. Um, and then somewhere in here, image date tag, right? Yep, event featured image. This div here, we're going to copy. Rather than copy and paste the whole thing, I figured it'd be better to, there we go, show you exactly what's changing. So we just pasted this part in, and this has our date tag and should now display our date on our photo view on the photo. Let's see what we get. And it doesn't. Interesting. Well, I'm going to cheat. Every browser has an inspector built in. I'm going to make sure that our date. Okay, see, even I get a little stumped sometimes. So let's go back and we'll copy this whole piece from the article and make sure. Maybe we need to update this article. Maybe I missed something. Oh, no, that's smaller, that's for sure. So we missed something. And let's try again. We'll close this. Come on, show me dates. I'm seeing dates here, but that's not really, that's date and time. I think our article needs updating, Jamie. Well, let's see. Photo featured image. Let's make sure that we copy this into the right place. This is list, but we want pro photo featured image. And it should be Tribe Events Pro photo event featured image. Let's make sure we're in the right place. Tribe Events Pro v2 photo. That would be why. When I copied this file over, I doubled the folder. So photo featured image. Now we should see what we expect to see. We make a mistake, go back over the steps. No, it still doesn't like me. I think we're going to pass on this example uh, because it is not doing what it's supposed to. um, photo, image. Let me try a different one. Um, by the way, there are other articles up here that list all of these template files, and all of them should, like I said, they will say in them, this is the one in events. Tells you where it's supposed to go. Sometimes, as you've seen, it does not go where you expect it to go, or it doesn't work when, I'm gonna just do this. Events Pro V2 photo, stinker. Event, image, move. Give it one more shot before we give up completely. I'm stubborn. Come on, show me a date. Come on, refresh. There we go. There we go. There's our date. And you can see when I'm clicking on it, it's with the image, but like this is not really what we want, right? What we want is it to overlap. So we use a few custom styles here. You can add a style sheet. You can add these to your child theme style sheet, or you can also use the customizer, which takes additional CSS. So we're going to publish this additional CSS, and then we're going to go back to our events and see if it's being applied. There we go. We have a nice translucent box with the date in it that hovers over the image, just like in the article. Okay. How are we on time here? Do we want to start taking questions or?
Yeah, I could start moderating
Okay.
the chat a little bit. Um,
Here, I will stop sharing. This is gonna go crazy for just a second. Oop, stop. There we go.
all right, let's see. Um, oh, okay. So, Stacy was asking, I think she's referring here to FTP. I've never worked in that back end screen. Can you share directions on how to open that?
The back end screen.
I think she's talking about when you had like uh, on FTP where you were sharing all of the
Oh, when I was editing
files.
the
Mhm.
code, I use Visual Studio, which is it's an IDE. It's a code editor. You can use text edit, whatever, I'm on a Mac, so I would use text edit. Um, Windows has something similar, Chrome has something similar. You want a text editor and you want one that's not going to format your text. So not Word or something like that. You want a very plain text editor. Most of the IDEs will do that. VS Code is free. Um, there's a few others depending on your platform that are also free, but it's important that they don't do things like format the quotes into curly quotes and things like that, because that will break your code. So even just plain old text edit here, well, will work for that. And then, right, you would open up the file. You can FTP from your site, you can download the zip and edit it and then rezip it and upload it to your site, whatever works best for you. But you just open that file in a plain text editor and make the changes. And or in the case of the child theme, you could just create a zip with the child theme and then go ahead and create the files. I'm not like as far as I guess I guess I can share a little bit maybe here. If you give me a second, and I apologize for the quick flash of um, screen. So this of course makes it easy because I do this all day, so I try to make this easy. But if I open this in Finder, just so you can see, so imagine that I've unzipped. Actually, do I have the events calendar in here? Probably not. Yeah, here we go. So I download my plugin, right? And I open it in whatever file explorer I have for my system, and then I'm looking at source views, right? And we were v2 list, right? Um, and then I can just open one of these, and you can open it in a basic text editing app and edit it that way. Um, because I do this all day, I use an IDE and it makes, it colorizes and things like that. And those are real easy. It makes it a lot easier to keep track of what you're doing. But you can do it this way. This is the way I did it when I started years ago. So, um, yeah, stop.
We also have a knowledge base article on using FTP. I'm just going to put it in the chat, and if that's helpful, take a look at
Yeah.
that. Let's see.
And this, oh, good.
Sorry. Stacey was also asking, how do you get to this coding area? I think she was referring to when you were using the code snippets plugin, and like it was on
Sure,
your
sure,
WordPress site.
sure. I'm going to share again. Well, it's easier to go back and forth like this. So, come on. If I'm on this code snippet, so this is, we'll jump a couple of screens. If I'm in the WordPress admin, um, right, I have a lot of plugins. Bear with me. This is the plugin, code snippets, and it puts this snippets piece in the menu. So I go here and ignore these. These are the ones that just the examples that are built into the plugin. This is the one that I created. So I did add new to add a new snippet, right? And then I entered a title, and then I wrote the code which was the bit from the article. You literally copy and paste the code from the article into the snippet, and then with code snippets, I then said only run it on the front end, and then save changes and activate the snippet. And again, I like this because you can activate and deactivate the snippet. You can tell it to only run in certain areas and stuff like that. Gives you a little bit more control. So, okay,
And as a follow-up to that,
sure.
Stacy was also asking if this plugin is required to make
No, no, no,
changes to the
no,
template.
no, no. So let me go back to the snippet, right? That I was using. Right here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to deactivate this snippet. Right? Remember, this is the one that on list view shows the author right here, and you'll see now it's gone. What I can do instead, and I'm going to do this in my IDE again, I apologize, is I can go into my themes. Your themes always has a functions file. And again, just like the templates, we can create one new file, functions.php, in our child theme. We're going to paste it in here. It's a PHP file, so it always has to start with a PHP tag. But this is the exact same code that I put into the snippet, and I'm going to save it in my functions PHP file. And then we're going to go back out here, and we're going to refresh this page. And I'm explaining this, so and there you go. It's right here. Right. So no, you don't need the code snippets plugin. I just find if I'm doing a fair number of little bits of code, it makes life easier, but it can go directly into your functions file in, here's the one in 2021. Or if you're using a child theme, like we recommend, you can have your own functions filed in the child theme, and then you don't have to mess with anything in the 2021 theme at all. Those would be the two simplest ways to do it. Um, so, so no, you don't need the plugin.
And she was also asking that she was hoping to learn how to change styles on some of the headers and such. Can I do this without that plugin?
Sure, yeah. You can do it a few ways. Um, if you have a child theme, remember the one thing that you need to define a child theme is a style sheet. Now, I didn't put any styles in there, but you can put styles in there that affect things. The other thing you can do is use the old customizer, the classic customizer, as opposed to the site editor, um, and it has a custom CSS section. Um, and I probably was a little quick, but I'll share and show you again, maybe. Sorry about that. There we go. All right, so yeah, here we're on the list view, right? So we can go to customize, and because this is not a full site editing theme, it should send me directly into the customizer and show me that list view. Now we have a lot of controls in the customizer for doing some of that stuff, changing fonts, changing colors. We want to change the event title color to red, you know, or well, that's kind of horrible looking. Purple's a little better on the green. Um, but you can also you have this additional CSS section, right? So this is just in the main customizer section for the theme. You have additional CSS. And this is where I put the example CSS for the photo article, right? So I just pasted there. It's a little hard to read because I know someone said they were having a little trouble seeing that. Let's make it a little bigger. Um, so it gives like position relative padding. You can add colors and stuff in here too. We've got some fonts set from that article. Oh, here's a color, right? This is for the photo. So let me go to the photo view. Um, And then here we set a color. So let's say we want red, right? Oh, it's not going to auto publish that. But um, and then if we publish this, it should refresh this and take tag month. And it's not doing it, of course. But oh, we have more than one color in here. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to double check that article now. Looks like we get color defined twice. There we go. There's our red. See? Um, so you can do it in the customizer, or as I said, you can do it in your child theme here. Um, the only thing that a child theme absolutely needs is this style CSS. So we could just as easily have said, take that out, and we're going to put it in here. And you can do this to alter header colors or what have you. Um, again, there is some of that here for the events calendar for a few of the views and single event. But if you don't feel comfortable with the customizer IDE, or you're using a full site editing theme and you need a slightly different uh, targeting, uh, hey, are we gonna? Oh, the theme might actually, it might override from, it might be overridden from by the plugin. Sometimes you have to be a little more explicit about, yeah, it's not going to work for me. Of course. So this is getting loaded before the plugin is getting loaded. So we're going to do this. Oh, pardon me while I cheat. I can force it to override the plugin styles because themes load and then plugins load their styles. Um, yeah, no, it's not going to let me do it there. Um, but you can basically what you need to do. What you need to do is you can put it into a style sheet. You just need to make sure that that style sheet loads last. Customizer style sheets load last. So that's probably the easiest way for someone that doesn't want to get super technical is to just put it in customize in the additional CSS section right here. Oop, come on. Okay.
Okay. Would love some guidance on modifying event page URLs. I'd love to represent recurring events under just one URL.
And I'd love to help you with that, but I'm not going to cover that today. That's an entire thing in and of itself. We use redirects under the hood, so to speak, and um, that's complicated enough that it needs its own thing. We do have some articles on that uh, in the knowledge base, and you can look for redirects or rewrites in the knowledge base and find those articles. But that's fairly complex and not for the faint of heart. That's not a beginner thing for sure. So, uh, and if you have a support contract with us, you can always reach out and ask for some help. It's a customization, but we will try to help you when we can. So, um,
What about event series as like a way to put them all in one place?
yeah, if you the event series, if you put them all into a series, and you could just um, create your recurring event and then create a series for each recurring event. That series has a page which lists all the events. Um, and I believe there is an archive for page for series. It's an extra step though. I think you're trying to find a way to show, if I'm understanding, all just recurring events, like only show me the recurring events, don't show me the other ones. And you might be able to do that with a query parameter too. I would have to play with it a little bit though to be sure. Um,
Is there a guide on which files do what? Yes, we have a bunch of stuff in the knowledge
yeah,
base.
I think I have. I actually probably flashed one on the screen while we are talking. Um,
And I have some
they're
in the email that's going to go out
yeah,
tomorrow.
and there are a ton of files which is probably when you're trying to figure it out feels like we're just making your life really complicated, but really what we're trying to do is make it so it's easy for you to change one small thing without affecting everything. You know, if you just want to change the date line, you can just change the template that uses that creates that date line, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. Everything else is going to stay the same around it. um,
Is the theme editor specific to the events calendar or my entire WordPress site?
the theme editor, Uh, the customizer that I showed is site wide. It is part of WordPress. Um, the and the I created a child theme um, to store my changes in, and that also would be um, for the whole site. It wouldn't just be for the events calendar. Although you could only put things in there for the events calendar, and that would be fine. Uh,
Um, I'm looking for simple style changes in the list view, like displaying a smaller picture. Any tips on that?
Sure. There are a few ways that you can go about something like that. Can I present again real quick? So I'm going to, come on, let me go to list view here. Oh, I forgot I'm in the customizer. Let me get out of there. And then we go to the list view, right? And we have the photos on the side, and you want to show smaller ones. There's a couple ways you can do that. One is here's the featured image. Oops, sorry, this is for photo view. Um, let me find the list view, events, list, author, right? So if we go into our plugin again, events calendar, and we go source, views, v2, list, right? And then we're looking for that featured image, right? You'll see that we have this whole like source set thumbnail full URL. You can actually change this to just output a thumbnail. Excuse me. Um, the the other possibility, which might be simpler for a lot of folks, is to go into the customizer again, and we'll use a little CSS to do it. I'll show you how. We're going to use this additional CSS, and we're going to, and we're going to go back to list view. Dang it. And I'm going to delete these styles for now, just so you can see just what I'm doing and nothing else. So we have an image here, and we're going to use the inspector, which is here, right? And it shows, and you can see that this image is, it doesn't have it has height auto and max width 100%, right? These are the things that define the size. And then it has this source set attribute, and that tells it if the screen's different widths, then we show a different size image. But let's say we want to just restrict it to a specific size, right? So we have a class here. So we copy that class, and then we're going to go here, and we paste the class. It starts with a dot. If you're not familiar with CSS, a class starts with a dot, and then your rules go in curly braces. So here's curly braces. So we're going to say width is, how big is this right now? It is, come on, 245. So let's make it smaller. Let's say a max of 200 pixels. You can see how it shrank, right? And then and then we can also, if we wanted to, we could also change the height, or we can leave the height at auto, and that way the height will auto adjust based on the width. That would be the simplest way, most likely. You'll notice this says list and event featured image, and those are the things you want to watch for. This will only affect the images on the list view. It won't affect if you're on photo view, for example, right? So that may be the simplest way if you want to do something small like that, to just change the width of the image. Otherwise, you can do it with the template override and just output that specific size image. So, okay.
Do you have plans to make the plugin elements completely customizable via Elementor?
Our future plans for Elementor are only slightly above my pay grade. No, no, we have been working on adding more and more integration with Elementor, and I expect that with time, what you're going to see is both builders like Elementor and Beaver Builder, and etc., and plugins like us that create entire pages sometimes will both gravitate more toward the blocks editor and the site editor for that type of thing. I do know that we do have plans to become compatible with the site editor, and when that happens, we'll reach out to folks like Elementor that we have communication with so that they know and so that our integrations allow for that kind of editing.
Can you share the pros and cons of overriding templates versus adding custom CSS to the theme?
Sure. If it's something small, I would usually recommend that you use a custom CSS. You want to change the color of some text or like a font style or something, just custom CSS is fine. If you start to if and you can use CSS to do things like display none on something to hide it, right? But as soon as you want to add something, um, then you need a template override. If you want to change the order of stuff, it's probably honestly simpler to do a template override because reordering things with CSS can be a little flaky sometimes. Um, the the templates won't change the visual look of anything. What they will change is what is output. And if that's what you need to change, then I would go template. If what you just want to do is change how something looks, then then CSS is generally the way to go. Although there may be instances where you want to restyle something and it requires an actual change to the HTML structure, in which case you're going to need to do a template override for that.
Okay. Is it possible to change the default blocks when adding a new event so every event looks automatically the same and you don't need to remember or check what blocks you used last time?
There, there is a filter for that, actually. Um, a filter in PHP, so you'd have to write some code um, to alter the blocks that are included and the order that they're in. You could do that with the filter. I don't work on the blocks as much, so let me see if I can find it real quick. Um, register blocks. No, no. No, where am I? I'm in the, I would, if first thing would be hunt down register blocks in the code base, but I am looking to see if I can find it for you real quick. Unfortunately, all I'm finding is our hooks at the moment. Register blocks. Register blocks. Oh, oh, here we go. I'm going to share more code. Sorry, but it's that kind of question. So here I'm in the events calendar, and this is source tribe editor provider. So this is a service provider. We don't have to get into
Do you
all
want
of
to
that.
share your screen?
Oh, did I not share my screen? I'm sorry. I thought I did. Percent share. Share. I must have clicked cancel by accident. There we go. All right. I am in the events calendar. Whoop. Source tribe editor. and provider. And you see here, this is where all of the blocks are registered, right? And it registers each of them. So you can alter the order. There is also a default template, which is not in this file, of course, that that it uses, and there's a filter for that as well, um, that you can use to, like, this will unregister a block completely, and if you never use one, that's perfectly, you can do that. That's fine. You If you just want to like switch up the order or something, then it would be the place in the code where you are where it sets up the default template, um, and you would just change the option there. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Template. See, I'm hoping it's in here, but this is not the kind of, sorry, this is not the kind of questions I was prepared to answer today. It's okay though. Here we go. Tribe editor meta. So this one provides this backwards compatibility, and you can see it's registering the meta for the different spots: the event start date, show map link, event URL, event cost. Right. Hang on. No, this is cost. All right. Oops. Oh, wait. No, this is just localizing. There is a hook for it. I'm sorry, I can't find it quickly. But if you can find where those are where these blocks are all added, then you can alter the order. You can take blocks out to make a more permanent. And you would do that. You could do that hooking in you could do the code itself in the functions PHP file. You wouldn't have to go in and directly edit the file. There's a hook to change them, because we use that hook to add blocks for our premium plugins. So.
And as a follow-up, is it possible to add default texts in the template?
Yes, you would have to go in and actually edit the block code. And that's not as easily filterable at this time. But it is possible. So.
How do I change my calendar to go from Sunday to Saturday? It currently goes from Monday to Sunday.
Sure, let me see. There's a setting for that under WordPress settings, I believe. And where is that? I'm looking for that right now. Yes, in the general settings tab, there's a week starts on, and you want it to go from, I'm sorry, you want it to go from Sunday to Saturday. It currently goes from Monday to Sunday. And you're talking about like a week view or a month view, I assume. And I believe if you change the Windows setting, it will change. So let me see. I'm gonna do this real quick, and I don't believe there's an event specific one for that. Yeah. So let me. I'll walk you through this real quick. Present, and this is in general settings. So this is not an events. This is not in events. This is in our WordPress settings under general. At the very bottom, under time zone and date format and all that, is week starts on, and it tends to default to Monday, right? which if it's set to Monday and we go here to our events and you get a preview, there's Sunday at the beginning. See Mondays at the beginning. If you change that, whoop, wrong one. If you change that to Sunday, um, then the calendar, it knows that you've said your week starts on Sunday. And when you go to your calendar, your month view or your week view, it will start on, come on, it should start on Sunday. There we go, instead of Monday. So that would be the way to do it. Like I said, there isn't a specific one for the calendar. It tries to follow the settings for the rest of the site. So, okay.
Is there a way to include event location in photo view?
Oh, the venue? Sure, you would do it similar to the way that we did. How much time do we have here?
Couple minutes.
Couple minutes. You do it similar to the way that we did it in. We did the adding the author name, right? Um, but instead of opening list view, you'd I'll share and I'll just pull up the files so you can see what I'm talking about. So let me just close all this. So we did photo view, right? And we had event and event featured image. Now here in event list, remember this event author, this didn't exist before, right? So what I would do is, as an initial, if you just want to kind of quick do it, is I would go to list view, where you said, oh, we've got it in list view. So v2 list event venue, right? And this displays the venue information. And I would copy all of that, and then I would go to my photo, and I would create a new file. Venue isn't there now. Photo view, and then after I gaze deeply into infinity for a moment, I would go to my photo view. Remember, we've mucked around with this some, but say you wanted it here. We're looking at, there's the event details, right? So if we go back to photo view in Pro, that's the events calendar, events Pro, source views, to photo event, and here's all the details, the time, the date tag, the cost. So we'd look at event, and it has the templates, and we could do something as simple as, and I'm doing what I keep telling you not to do, which is directly editing the file, but just for the sake of expediency. Yeah, it's not working. Details, date, time. I am missing something. But you'd want to call that template, that photo event venue template, which we put in here. Sorry, there's a lot in here. Photo event venue, right? And you want to pass the event to it, and it will, because it needs it right here, because it checks to see if there are venues, and then you just want to output that, and you can use the hooks like they did in here, right? This tried template before, so we find that. Let's see. we got it in here, right? We did events v2. We want events v2 photo events. What are you looking at? Let's do event date time. See if we can't get it to time. And then we want go event venue, right? There's a little bit of trial and error when you're doing this. I'm trying to do this off the cuff and probably not going to work the way I expect it to, but so it'll take a little tweaking. Yeah, it's not showing it for me. But that would be the way to do it. You just have to make sure that all of these paths are correct, that this template before include is right, and this is right, which that's this one. That's fine. To make sure that you inject it just like we did with the event author in the list view. So, but you could do that, yeah. And then you just have to make sure you pass the event to any template, and but like this, right? Or in your function, the template handles that because this template function actually handles making sure that event gets passed. So.
I think we're gonna have to hold off on any other questions. This
Okay.
is great though. I think we'll have to do another one of these so that we can answer some more questions.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, everyone will receive an email that'll have a replay to this webinar along with some helpful resources like some of the knowledge base articles that we talked about and where the template files are, as well as a coupon code for our products. So look out for that email tomorrow. And thank you all for joining.
Thanks, Al.